Coming up, Congress takes action to correct the FAA's malarkey, where the bill to restore flight training stands. Plus, a new generation flying in the spirit of the Tuskegee Airmen.
And if it floats, flies, or drives, you can see it here. Plus, we're on scene for the AOPA Aviator Showcase in Fort Worth. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
So when I'm working, flying an airline jet, I use Bose ProFlight. The ProFlight changed the comfort level. It's so light I never take it off my head.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haynes and Alyssa Cobb.
Well, what the FAA lawyers broke, Congress will fix.
That's right. The House has approved a bill that reverses the Fed's sudden change in flight training policy. An amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act makes it clear that a flight instructor providing flight instruction is not operating an aircraft carrying persons or property for compensation or hire. Remember last summer, the FAA issued the directive saying that flight instruction in some categories of aircraft, including experimental and limited categories, require a LODA, or Letter of Deviation Authority. Now, LODA because the aircraft was supposedly carrying people for hire. Just about everybody in the industry viewed the LODA as a paperwork exercise which did nothing to improve safety. And folks got mighty vocal about it. And when the FAA refused to reverse course, AOPA and other organizations turned to Congress and asked pilots to help.
I can't thank our AOPA members enough for sending nearly 100,000 letters to Congress and the bipartisan support to address this so quickly. I'm very proud of that.
The bill is now with the Senate, and Jim says it's pretty assured the Senate will pass it as well. He expects the president will sign it into law later this year.
Well, we have to thank, Representative Sam Graves from Missouri, Representative Kai Kahale from Hawaii, and on the Senate side, Senator Jim Inhofe, who's just such a great leader for general aviation, Angus King from Maine, and John Bozeman from Arkansas. So this has been done in a very bipartisan way and a bicameral way, both in the House and the Senate. And it just goes to show you that when GA speaks with one voice, we can really get some things done here in Washington.
So, Alyssa, it's been a mess, and as you recall from just before Oshkosh, the whole thing kind of blew up, and we had to step in and call on our friends in Congress to get this thing resolved because the legal department at the FAA just kind of went nuts with this one issue and way over the top, kind of using a chainsaw where they should have used a scalpel to solve this problem. So it's been challenging, but we'll get there.
That's right. I'm sure that a lot of pilots and flight instructors are going to be looking forward to getting back to normal soon.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, as we record this show, we don't know yet if the federal government will shut down on Friday. But what we do know is that much of the FAA will continue to operate, even though other federal agencies might be closed. Critical operations that continue even in a shutdown include air traffic control services, medical certification, airworthiness directives, and the Aircraft and Airmen Registry. That's because AOPA had lobbied Congress in 2018 to have the registries exempted from shutdown. So even if a lot of other agencies are shut down, you can still fly knowing that the FAA services you need the most are still there.
Common sense prevails for now in Massachusetts. You may remember the absurd $1,000 landing fee proposed on all operations in the state. It was allegedly to combat climate change. Well, the farce of a bill has been sent to committee for study, also known as to die. AOPA and other aviation advocacy groups worked to respond and educate state leaders when the divisive language was proposed months ago. Looks like it's dead in the water, at least for now. Well, now to a place far more peaceful. Hundreds of airplanes landed at Triple Tree Aerodrome in South Carolina last weekend for the 2021 Triple Tree Fly-In. Thousands came out for the weekend of fun, hospitality, and of course, beautiful airplanes. Now, Triple Tree has an immaculate 7,000-foot grass runway. It is beautiful. It's like a putting green, really idyllic location. And the goal is to ignite and expand the passion for aviation. Mark your calendars for next year's fly-in taking place September 19th through the 25th, 2022.
Well, the buff just keeps soldiering on. The Buff, or Big, Ugly, Fat, well, you can fill in the rest, is more formally known as the B-52 Stratofortress. The aircraft was first introduced in 1954, and the last one rolled off the line in the early 1960s. Well, now it's going to continue in service past 2050. The Air Force has selected Rolls-Royce North America to provide replacement engines for the B-52H. That's 8 F-130 turbines per aircraft. Now the turbines will be built in Indianapolis, and the Buff will continue flying for another 30 years. So Tom, you're clearly not in the studio today. Where have your travels taken you this week?
Very observant of you, Alyssa. Yes, we're not in the studio. We're in Texas, Fort Worth Alliance Airport, to be exact, for the AOPA Aviator Showcase. It's setup day here now. The event is actually Friday, October 1st, rain or shine. Let's hope for shine. You can drive in or fly in to see dozens of the newest airplanes of all types, from tailwheels to turbines. Inside, we have dozens of exhibitors ready to showcase their latest gear for you. Seminar track taking place throughout the day that'll focus on everything you need to know to buy, finance, insure, and upgrade your airplane. This is our second and last showcase of the year, so come on by. We'll have more from here next week. When we come back, wings, wheels, and keels at an airport in Virginia.
And empowering the next generation in the spirit of the Tuskegee Airmen. Don't click away.
Your plane is a valuable tool. With the Genesis Aerosystems S-Tech 3100 digital autopilot, you can rest assured you will arrive safely to your destination. The 3100 is the industry's most advanced autopilot for single and twin-engine aircraft, providing exceptional workload reduction, safety-enhancing capabilities such as straight and level mode and speed protection. To learn more, visit our website today.
Welcome back. Now check out this awesome shot from Santa Paula, California. Photographer Michelle Ariel Carter captured pure magic in the aerobatic box. That's Rob Holland, inverted, in formation, with AOPA You Can Fly champion Michael Goulian in the center. Then on the left is SZP local Sammy Mason in his Zipco Edge 540. The trio were perfecting routines ahead of the Pacific Air Show this weekend in Huntington Beach. What a great shot! Now you can watch the Pacific Air Show streaming live on Hulu. The National Business Aviation Association convention is coming up week after next, and they've added something new for pilot owners, those folks that fly their own airplanes on business. And a few miles away from the Las Vegas Convention Center at Henderson Airport, NBAA will debut the Owner Single Pilot Pavilion. It will serve as the hub for single pilot turboprop and jet operators to network and participate in educational programs. Major companies such as Textron, Dare, and Embraer will be there. And we'll be there too, of course. The NBAA show begins October 12th.
Some big honors on the way for those in the flight training world for the great work that they do. The results of the 2021 annual AOPA Flight Training Experience Survey Awards have been tabulated. 42 schools and 100 CFIs have earned distinguished awards. 6 schools and 6 instructors have been tapped as the regional winners. The national winners of the 2021 survey will be announced at the Redbird Migration in February. Igniting the spark to start a love of aviation, that's the goal of the Legacy Flight Academy. The organization takes students flying for the first time at events around the country. Last Saturday, they held an event at Richmond, Virginia. AOPA Live's Josh Cochran was there.
There's nothing quite like your first flight in a small airplane.
So if you were going to use one word to describe it, what would it be?
Fun. It was amazing. It was awesome.
We're going to go up in an airplane.
These students are flying for the first time at the Legacy Flight Academy's Eyes Above the Horizon event at Richmond Executive Airport in Virginia.
So not only are we sharing our stories with them, but we're giving them that experience. We have students learn about STEM, learn about different careers in aviation, and then of course, we're getting to get them in an airplane and take them up flying.
The organization started with a goal to continue the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen.
Right after the Red Tails movie came out, started the 501c nonprofit organization Legacy Flight Academy, and it was all about the Tuskegee Airmen, all about the incredible heroes that they are, and it was just about inspiring the next generation of Americans, red, yellow, black, white, male, female, just because what the Tuskegee Airmen did for our nation and for our world is truly an American treasure that needs to be told. And so It's nothing better than to tell it via aviation.
Pull that handle and it opens.
And the volunteer pilots are making the continuation of that legacy possible. Isaac Rutan is flying as a way to say thank you for a scholarship he received that funded his private pilot training.
I figure it's never too early to start giving back to a program that really benefited me, and you know, it's always good to invest in the next generation of aviators, paying it forward as early as possible.
Throughout the day, the students also got to fly drones, flight simulators, and even met a NASA astronaut.
To come out on a day like this, to be in an airplane, and to be at the controls of an airplane and having that kind of intimate experience in a cockpit with an instructor makes it real. It means it's something that is not beyond reach. It's not something that somebody else does. It's something you can do if you want to go do that.
Perfect. I love it.
And that's what this event is all about, expanding the horizons of what you're able to accomplish.
Good.
Sky's the limit until it's your point of view. You know, the first time that you get a student in an airplane, they fly, they do something they've never done, and now when they get down, there's absolutely nothing that you can tell them that they can't do. They truly believe they can do anything after flying a plane.
Josh Cochran, AOPA Live.
On Saturday, 42 students took their first GA flight. Virginia Air Force Association and Dominion Aviation Services at Richmond Executive Airport hosted the events.
Well, there may be a fly in the ointment when it comes to drone delivery. Actually, make that a raven. A raven attacked a Wing drone delivering coffee to Australia's Canberra suburbs. Wing has temporarily stopped deliveries to that area. Now, Wing is a subsidiary of Alphabet, that's Google's parent company. Wing says there's no danger. Its drones have multiple redundancies. But we just wonder what might happen if an American bald eagle were to take issue with this thing in its territory. Well, one way to engage the public with general aviation, host events at the local airport. AOPA content media producer David Toulis has the story about an event at Hummel Field in Eastern Virginia.
Wings, wheels, and keels attracted hundreds of visitors to Hummel Field in Virginia. The event featured dozens of vintage cars, a variety of boats, and about 30 general aviation airplanes. David Groh flew in his beautiful 1946 Aeronca Champ.
What'd you tell me before I was running the video?
That the airplane and I were the same year. I bought it in a little town outside of Denver, Colorado about 10 years ago and flew it back to Virginia. It belonged to a friend of mine. And once I got it back here in Virginia, I flew it for 7 or 8 years, and then I took it apart and rebuilt it. It's painted in one of the factory original color schemes, but not the one that you usually see on an Aeronca Champ.
Another aviation highlight. The latest graduates from the Virginia Aviation Ambassadors Program were honored with their leather jackets. Pilots were celebrated for completing a tour of all 66 public use airports in Virginia. AOPA Flying Club's initiative director Steve Bateman is one of the graduates.
How's it feel?
Feels fantastic to be the class of 2021. Are you kidding? It's wonderful.
AOPA was there supporting a new flying club at Hummel, and attendees stopped to watch a mini air show featuring RC airplanes. The event proved to be an ideal way to spend a bright blue sky day at the airport in Virginia. David Toulis, AOPA Live.
This year marked the 26th annual Wings, Wheels, and Keels event.
F. Scott Fitzgerald reportedly told Ernest Hemingway, "The rich are different from you and me," to which Hemingway is supposed to have replied, "Yes, they have more money." Well, if you have a lot of money, and I mean lots, Lufthansa Technik has what they call a pioneering cabin design for big business jets called Explorer. It's based on the trend for super yachts of the same name. They unveiled the concept at the Monaco Yacht Show. It's based on an Airbus ACJ 330 widebody. It's designed for 10 to 16 very VIP passengers. One concept is to cover the walls and ceiling with projection screens to create whatever environment the passengers want. Yes, they are under the sea. Lufthansa Technik says it will have more surprises at the Dubai Air Show in November, so start saving your pennies now. So Alyssa, I think you'd look really great in that.
I agree. I'll start saving my pennies now, and if you could send some of your pennies my way, I think I'm going to need a little help.
Yeah, no problem. Be happy to help you out with that. That's our program for this week. We hope to see many of you out here at the Fort Worth Aviator Showcase. Please do sit by and say hello.
And send us your thoughts in the comments or via email. We're glad to listen to your input, and we'll see you next week.
Now's your chance to take part in the You Can Fly Challenge. From now until the end of the year, your gift to the AOPA Foundation will be matched. The high school initiative provides aviation STEM curriculum for students across the country. Flight training helps schools and instructors deliver the kind of experiences that today's pilots demand. Flying Clubs helps to start new clubs and provides support so existing clubs can flourish and grow. Help build a stronger pilot community today by visiting aopafoundation.org/challenge to have your gift doubled.